Okay, let's start. Welcome to the BizBlend podcast, listeners, where heart meets hustle and purpose meets performance. I'm your host, Sana, as always, and today in this episode, we are diving into something really unique, a unique take on leadership. While you must have heard or listened to our conversations on intuitive leadership or servant leadership, but this one's is a little bit different, which is equal parts nourishing, colorful, but deeply human. And our guest is the incredible Dr. Cynthia Rapaido, a celebrated educator, leadership coach, and now the author of Step Up Your School Leadership Game. Let me share a bit about her with all of you listeners. She brings over 30 years of hands-on experience in K-12 and higher education, and today she's here to explore two powerful concepts from her book, The Fruit Leadership Style and The Multifaceted Identity. So, whether you are leading a school or a business or a movement, this conversation will shift how you see leadership at its core. So, let's quickly dive deep. So, Dr. Cynthia, welcome to the show, and it is such an honor to have you with us.
Thank you, Sona, for having me. I'm really looking forward to having this talk with you, and I've been looking forward to it as well. So thank you.
Absolutely, Dr. Cynthia. So, before we talk about the two topics, of course, let's talk about your book. So, um, you have 30 years of hands-on experience in the K-12 and higher education. But what prompted or what motivated you to author this book, to pen down, what you want to share with others?
Sure. So after I retired from K-12, um, I started doing some coaching with teachers, and then I started also coaching administrators, school administrators, and I figured I'm telling all of them almost the same thing, one on one, and I wanted to write a book that would help them as they, think about leadership and the responsibilities of being a school leader, and um, that's what inspired me because I didn't really have a book for myself. I mean, I was kinda, like, put into the role. I went from teacher to assistant principal, and I wasn't one that got in trouble, so I never saw the assistant principal or the principal. So I kind of coasted throughout high school, and when I got into this role, I realized there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and, if people are in that same situation as me,
Mhm.
what do they need to know to step up in that game, and have a better understanding of the job before they even go into it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I also thought about, okay, I want it not just for teachers or new and aspiring principals, but I thought even, as they go into as a mentor like me, I can even give it out to other coaches to give out to their students. And then I can even give it to superintendents who might not even know what a school site administrator does because maybe they didn't serve at a school site, but maybe work their way into that position, or some
Okay.
teachers that skipped um, and did leadership a different route and then became at the district office, but now they're in the position of supporting site
Mm.
leaders. And if they don't know what that job looks like, they might feel um, like they can't relate or understand their roles or understand the site leaders' roles. And so that's why it would help them have a better understanding how to support them.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that is super important because um, as a person, if I can say that, those years spent in the school, those years, they shape our lives, professionally and personally. And one question is coming to my mind, Dr. Cynthia, that while writing this book down, um, did you try to see any parallels between the school leadership and the kind of leaders or entrepreneurs or business owners we have around us? I mean, any kind of intersection did you find, or it's a complete different ball game? It serves a complete different niche here.
I think it's both. I mean, um, I think it's what's different about education is, um, you're working with children and educating all of them, and so you have to create this nurturing environment to
Mhm.
support the growth of the student, uh,
Mhm.
whereas some businesses could be a computer, um, technology, biotechnology. It can be, not necessarily about nurturing,
Mm.
the growth of the clients, so the students are our clients, so
Right.
but the people that work there
Mhm.
as a leader, there's components of that in terms of how to lead the teachers, the counselors, but we have to have similar to what other businesses have, a mission, what are the goals, um, not just looking at numbers of, okay, what are the test scores of the kids, but now we have to
Mm.
serve the kids and help them understand, um, well, everybody has to understand that we're all kids and we're at different levels. And even as an adult, we don't know everything. So
Mm.
understanding where everybody is at all these different levels, we have to be the leaders of other leaders, in the classroom and on the school, whether they're the cafeteria lady or the bus
Mhm.
drivers. I mean,
Mm.
they also have their leaders, but
Yes.
the big support is the students.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, lovely. And what kind of changes you're observing right now in the education system, especially the K-12 or the high school level or higher education? Because I think a lot has changed from both the ends, especially during pandemic and post pandemic. So
Mhm.
what's your viewpoint on that?
I so a lot of the administrators that I worked with, when I started coaching them, it was during the pandemic, and when when they came out of the pandemic and ended up going back to the school site, they noticed that socially and emotionally, the
Mm.
students, struggled. Uh, so whether so I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he was saying, as a principal, while he was a principal at a school site, an elementary school site, the pandemic hit, and he had to work with the first graders who had no idea how to navigate classes on the computer. So you're talking about first graders, 6-year-olds. How do they get onto a computer? And telling them, okay, you got to dial in. You could dial in, and these kids don't understand that, first graders, and then to do that for almost 2 years, by the time they get to the school, they're now in 2nd grade, so, whether the first graders and now they're 2nd or 3rd graders, their social skills have not been developed because they've when you're in that kind of setting of elementary, and now I'm just talking about elementary, you learn from your peers. You realize, "Oh, you can play ball," or you learn how to share, you learn social skills, and that was missing at the elementary level. And then at the high school level, almost similar, where they went from 6th grade to 8th grade, or they went from 8th grade and became a 10th grader. Um, Big difference, um, in that social skills and how to work with peers and emotions, and just relying on Zoom is not enough. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so those are some of the changes and some of the challenges. And I think nowadays, I think people are going towards going onto the computer and trying to
Mm.
learn things from the computer. And now it becomes, how do we use both in the classroom without, losing what would traditionally be in a classroom setting? Um, yeah, so I think those are the challenges and the changes.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that because I think people need to know what happens at the ground level. Um, and now let's move to the main part of the conversation. I think our listeners are really excited. So, Dr. Cynthia, what exactly is the fruit leadership style, and how did it come to be?
So the fruit leadership style is a way to analyze yourself as well as how to find your strengths and areas that you need to develop, and then how others can work with you as well as how you can work with them based on their fruit leadership style. And how it came about was I was having trouble work as it going into administration. Like, why is this person so difficult to work with? Uh,
Mhm.
we're not just different in terms of gender, but our approaches are different. And then I would start analyzing just behavior, and then I would read certain books like on leadership, personalities, and then I came up with the four types of fruits with the fruit leadership style. And, um, I'll share that with you, and then we'll have you, if you're comfortable with it, go through the exercise with me, and then your audience, I think, will be able to relate to some of this stuff as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect. Love. I'm up for that. Okay.
okay, good. Okay, so there's 4 fruits, and I want you to, first of all, just kinda tell me which one resonates with you that you like, without even me going into the details yet,
Okay.
okay? Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and it has nothing to do with the time of day when you're eating it or just which one is your favorite. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, apples, grapes, pineapples, and oranges.
Okay. Apples.
Apples. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me ask you why. Why did you choose apples?
Hmm. Yeah. So, first of all, uh, I have been taught that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's a superfruit. It helps, it has so many benefits and advantages in itself. But lately, I have been kind of avoiding, um, you know, looking at apples. But inside, I feel I should at least have apple because I hate pineapples. Oranges and grapes, if somebody gives me, like, my sister, she loves to eat grapes. So she kind of always coaxes me that, why don't you eat grapes? I say, I eat apples. You just give me, cut me an apple, I'll have it at any time of the day. So apple is, like, out of all the four, my favorite. And I believe why? Because it's a superfruit.
Okay. Um,
Mm.
so now we're gonna go into just the visualization of them. And
Yeah.
okay, so what you had mentioned, you gave me your reasons. Okay, now set that aside. And I'm going to have you and your audience kind of go through um, the visualization of each of the fruit. As we know, the apple is very simple and straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Um, there's nothing about it. All you have to do is wash it, bite into it, and you're
Yeah.
done, right? It's self-supporting. It's requires no preparation. I mean, you could cut it if you want to, but you don't have to.
Mhm.
Very low maintenance,
Yeah.
but you can eat it fast and you're done.
Mm.
Okay. In terms of grapes, when you think of grapes, they're all on a branch, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Huh?
there's a whole bunch of them in a cluster, and they have one common branch that they're on. Uh,
Yeah.
so they're individually equal, pretty much.
Mhm.
You eat one, and then another one, and they taste the same, pretty much, from the common branch. The pineapple, when you think of the pineapple, it has the big crown on its top of the fruit, and then you have all those eyes on the outside, and then the juicy, fruit on the inside, but for the most part, it's big and this big crown with eyes. And then the oranges, when you think of the orange, you have to you can't even get to the fruit until you peel it,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now it's a little messy, and then the sections, there's sections and there's skin, and then if you even open that, there's the little pulps, and they're also arranged and organized in a nice, neat fashion. So, with each of those, food characteristics now becomes what those people look like in terms of character-wise. So, as an apple likes to just get it done.
Mm.
They like to address
But
so I'm thinking
mhm,
all the A words: address it, accomplish, action, and, accountability to yourself and the team to achieve it and get the job done. That's the apple. Just really easy. Let's go, let's go, let's do it. Don't be afraid. Let's jump and get it done. And the execution is the final part of it. It might be a little messy, but you're just ready to just go and do. With the grape is remember they're all in clusters and they all are equal. So that they are the characteristic of that person is they're more people oriented. They want harmony
mhm,
and good relationships. They don't want confrontation. They want harmony, group consensus, um, being inclusive with the group. And then with the pineapple, remember I was talking about the big crown on its head
yeah.
and that bunch of eyes on the outside. So inside is juicy. So they have lots of ideas and they're able to, have, like, be visionary, um, they think of possibilities, they look at the big picture, they like to predict, be imaginative, innovative,
Okay.
and then with the oranges, they are, again, organized really tight and, detailed, and so those type of people tend to be um more about organizing and analyzing and the details. Um, they may not be like a grape or they might not be like a pineapple, but they want the details. Um, so they like to process things before going into, jumping into anything. So now that you hear all of that, where do you think you are, Sana? And you could be more than one, but again, your dominant one is
Mm,
still an
mm.
apple.
No, I'm not an apple.
Ah,
Or at all.
okay.
No, that's why, I was so amazed. I'm Yeah, when you mentioned about oranges, I was kind of getting into a hint that it's more about um the symbolism of the physical properties of these fruits, which
Mhm,
can be to the leadership or the human traits.
mhm,
So, um, okay, I'll take, a kind of the accountability from Apple,
mhm,
because what I believe and what I practice is I'll be accountable for the mistakes I have done. And I also would expect my, um, uh, colleagues or my team members um, to be accountable as well,
mhm,
because it gives clarity. It humanizes, it humbles the interactions. Then I would also kind of associate myself with grapes, because although I can be good or brilliant as an individual performer, but it's more about as a team.
mhm.
And I'm a big believer in team building and uh, collaboration. So grapes, accountability from apple, and orange, not pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple. Okay. So,
Like,
that's great. That's
yeah.
great because now you're able to say, "Okay, I'm a little bit of this, this, and this." Uh,
Exactly.
and it's fine to say that because, I was more of a grape, then I became a grape orange, and then a grape orange apple, and I wasn't as much as like you say, I wasn't so much of a pineapple. I wasn't very visionary because I had a boss who
Mm-hmm.
picked that role, and I would just follow the lead because they're my boss. Um, But then when I became principal,
Mhm.
I had to have the vision. I had to have the goals. I had to put things in place. So that made me move or grow in the pineapple section, to become more visionary and more um, of that. And so in your role, so now that you know your strengths and areas, the ideal kind of leadership could be all four of them, develop all four of them, and then that would make that a fruit salad per se, right? And then if you have other people, so now
Mhm.
that becomes okay, the ideal situation, especially in a school setting, is know and become all four areas. And then as you're
Mhm.
working with a team,
Mhm.
asking your teammates, your colleagues, being now explicit, what are you on this fruit leadership chart? And then you would say, "Oh, okay, you're whatever. You're a pineapple." Well, there's things that each of them have to work on. Um, so then you have a better understanding of. Now I'm going to kind of flip through my notes. The areas that need to develop. So if you are not a pineapple in that area,
Uh-huh.
um, okay, wait, let me back up.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you as an apple person, you need to be more patient. And as a grape, you need to be more assertive. So this is all in the book, like things that you need to develop. Um, as a orange, you need to be more flexible because you tend to be one tends to be more focused on the details. Um,
Mm.
and then if it's a pineapple, then they need to work on being more deliberate. They might have this vision, but now they need to put the steps in place, for example. Um, so there's areas to develop. And then as you know that as you work with somebody else that might be a different fruit, then you can learn from that fruit leadership chart how to work with them. So let's say um, you're working with a pineapple and you're not
Mhm.
familiar with very many pineapples, and then you find out your teammate is a pineapple, then what you need to work on is be patient with them. So this is also in there because they have all these ideas. So be patient with them, but set boundaries and expectations. Show that you acknowledge your ideas, value that, and then provide them with the details so they can execute it, so they can work with a team. They might have the big picture, but not able to put things in steps because it's too broad. Um, And then if I'm working with, let's say you as a grape, uh,
Mhm.
I need to make sure that I'm inclusive and including you in the discussion, the topics, and be sensitive to you. And then you as an apple, I also need to be quick and be clear and explicit so that way
Mhm.
you can um, get the work done that you need to get done as an apple because the apple wants to get things done. And then as an orange, being an orange, I would need to be more direct um,
Yeah.
with you. And
I can be very nuanced, or maybe my instructions or communication can be layered, right?
yes, yes, absolutely. Depending on who you're working with
Mm.
in your
Mhm.
on your team. So as you identify members of your team and you say, "Hey, take this fruit leadership style. Let's see where everybody is," and then you find out, "Oh my gosh, my whole team is oranges." Okay, what do we need to do? Right? Or how do I work with them? Or you find out all your team members are pineapples. How do you work with them? So that's that fruit leadership chart on how to evaluate yourself, how to work with others, how to develop yourself as well. Um, yeah. And then how they can work with you.
That is really, really, really interesting. I'm loving these metaphors because now I have learned this, and I'm going to retain this probably my whole lifetime till the time I work, because these are so easy and so common, that you associate something with the properties of a fruit that you consume. So that is really, really innovative. Simple yet innovative, Dr. Cynthia.
Well, thank you.
Exercise.
Oh, great. I'm glad that you liked it, and I hope your audience does too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in the interest of time, Dr. Cynthia, uh, I wish we would have more time, but before we wrap up, um, if our listeners would like to connect with you and get a hold of your book and explore more about how to apply the fruit leadership style, and also more about the school leadership game, then what is the best way to do that?
Thank you. They can reach me at LinkedIn. So Cynthia Rapaido. They can look me up on LinkedIn. They can also email me at cynthiarapaido@gmail.com. So that's pretty easy and that's very direct, but they can also just do LinkedIn. And then if they want to read my book, they can go on Amazon. It's under Step Up Your School Leadership Game. And they can either Google the title of the book or they can Google my name and then they'll find my book.
Absolutely. I'll have all the links mentioned in the show notes. And Dr. Cynthia, thank you. Thank you so much for personally taking me through this journey and the exercise. I guess it was really, really such a good session for me. And I'm very sure have, kind of gotten a glimpse of how it works. So I would encourage all of you to check out the show notes and get a hold of Dr. Cynthia's book. And do connect with her on LinkedIn. I'll have all the links mentioned in the show notes. And thank you once again, Dr. Cynthia. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, Sana. Thank you again for having me on your show. And again, you have your for your listeners, it's they can easily reach out to me. I mean, I do the coaching one-on-one with education if they are questioning about or have questions about education, educational leadership. They're thinking about it. They're a teacher, um, wherever they're at, whether they're in India or anywhere. They're more than welcome to reach out to me through the LinkedIn might be fastest to ask questions. And I'm happy to send you a book too, Sana.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I would love to. I would love to. And to all of my beautiful listeners out there, what I believe is fruit leadership style, multifaceted identity. It's more than a framework. It's an invitation to lead with wholeness. So, with that, if this episode nourished your leadership journey, don't forget to check out Dr. Cynthia's book. And also, I would like to say that your leadership style doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just needs to be rooted and deeply from the inside out in who you truly are. So, with that, until next time, keep blending business with purpose, with power, right here on BizBlend with your host, Sana. Thank you.